This is problem 4.17 from Brigham and Houston, Chapter 4, Brigham and Houston, Fundamentals of Financial Management, Concise 9th edition. You more or less have to solve problem 4.16 before you get to 4.17, so I'll flip back and forth between those two. And this is asking some conceptual questions. Question 1, if a firm's basic earnings power ratio, the basic earnings power ratio, which is earnings before interest and taxes over assets. If a firm's expected BEP ratio is constant for all its assets and exceeds the interest rate on debt, adding assets and financing them with debt will raise the firm's expected return on equity. Well, that's what we saw over here. The firm's basic earnings power ratio in problem 416 is 35%. So you're earning, EBIT is 35% of the assets. If the interest on the debt is less than that 35%, then if you can add assets without them costing 35%, it's going to actually leverage up your results. We saw that in here. The BEP would be the same for problem 416. The BEP is the same under either plan. The only difference is that under a levered plan, they would spend 7% on the assets. Well, let me do this a slightly different way. All right, well, bottom line is if the interest rate on the debt is less than the basic earnings power ratio, then adding debt will add positive leverage and increase your net income over equity. So the answer to this one is a resounding yes. This one is true. The higher the firm's tax rate, the lower its BEP ratio, all else held constant. That's not correct. Earnings before interest and taxes is before taxes, so that's false. And the higher the interest rate, the interest rate doesn't matter what the interest rate is on the debt. The basic earnings power ratio is before interest or taxes, so that's false. The higher the debt ratio, the lower the BEP. Well, the higher the debt ratio, typically the higher the interest rate. It doesn't affect the basic earnings power ratio. And that's why we use the BEP ratio. It ignores the effect of financial leverage, so that's false. Statement A is false. No, it's not, so E is false too. So bottom line, this convoluted discussion, you can read through it in the textbook, but what it's saying is that as you add debt, as long as the assets are earning more than the cost of the debt, then adding additional debt to your capital structure is going to increase your return on equity. All right, all else held constant.